Joe, in your latest book, The Soul of a Horse, you talk a bit about the originating factors which caused the current way in which humans and horses interact. More specifically, how horses are stalled and how horses, virtually all horses, wear shoes. And I was wondering if you could elaborate just a bit on what those originating factors were centuries ago that caused.
Uh, well, back in medieval times, the story goes, and it's supposed to be basically true, that the kings, in the medieval period, decided that they would be a lot safer if they moved their castle up on top of a hill instead of being down in the valley. They could defend it better. They could, shoot the people coming up the hill easier than they can when they're coming around flat ground. And so they built the castles, took all the horses up there, and of course there's no pastures up there to keep them in, and they still needed horses to carry people and carry things around and so forth, and to go to war with. And so they just stuck them in stalls. And when they did, they stood around quite a bit of the time with, in their own poop and pee, which contains an enormous amount of ammonia. A horse's hoof is largely protein. Ammonia eats protein. And so the hoofs became very, very unhealthy. And when they take them out on the cobblestone streets of the castle yard, they would crack and break and chip and fall apart. And so to solve this, unfortunately, the king's blacksmith and the king didn't have enough sense to say, well, we need to get them out of the stalls so that they'll be healthy again. And so the blacksmith came up with this cool plan to put metal on their feet, and that way they wouldn't chip and crack when they hit the cobblestones. And then the king's horses all go down the hill, and the peasants are all down there saying, what are those shiny things on the king's horses? Well, he's got to know best, right? He's the king. So they go out and pull them out of the pasture and put shoes on their horses. And the humorous part about all that to me is, we say the horse is the herd animal, and it's really us. We're the herd animals. Follow the herd. Whatever the king does, let's all do it. But that's the story that it goes, and it went on from there. It became a tradition, and when we first got horses, I had no clue. I thought horses were born in shoes, basically, because every horse I'd ever seen or been around had shoes on. It's just something that you did. I never thought about it, and I tended to be among the people that thought a horse's hoof was just a big wad of, like a fingernail, just solid, like a molded piece of bone or something. And of course, that's not true at all. It's a very complex mechanism with thousands of capillaries and bones and things going on in there, and it needs to be healthy. It needs to be able to flex like a horse's hoof does when it doesn't have a shoe on it. You can't do that with a shoe on it. So I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel right now, but it's been a long time since the medieval times, and here we are.